Psalm 114:1-2, When Israel went out of Egypt, the house of Jacob from a people of strange language, to Judah became his sanctuary, and Israel his dominion. A people of strange language may mean no more than a barbarous people, a people whom they did not know, and who did not worship the God of Abraham. But it is a fact that the spoken language of the Egyptians at the time of Joseph was so different from that of the Hebrew language that they really struggled to understand each other. Psalm 81:5 highlights this struggle. He established in Joseph as a testimony, when he went throughout the land of Egypt, where I heard a language I did not understand. NKJV, Genesis 42:22 also confirms this when we read how Joseph, who sort of inadvertently eavesdropped on the conversations of his estranged brothers when they were confronted by him. They did not know that this was their brother that they had sold into slavery. Joseph apparently spoke through an interpreter to them in Egyptian, so they unwittingly didn't think he understood Hebrew. Behind the curtain, God planned to send Joseph and his kin to Egypt for over 400 years so that they would become a genetic typeset, one that would recognizably separate them from everyone else in the world, therefore becoming God's peculiar people, and they would become his sanctuary and his dominion. We read about this in two passages. The first in Deuteronomy 27:46, And they shall know that I am the Lord their God, who brought them up out of the land of Egypt, that I may dwell among them. I am the Lord their God. Then in verses 9 and 10 we read, Then Moses and the priests, the Levites, spoke to all Israel, saying, Take heed and listen, O Israel, this day you have become the people of the Lord your God. 10 Therefore you shall obey the voice of the Lord your God and observe his commandments and his statutes which I command you today. NKJV. Psalm 114:3 The sea looked and fled, the Jordan turned back. The psalmist is speaking of two validating miracles that brought Israel through the water into the land, thereby demonstrating the might and power of God who is able to deliver. The first miracle is when the Red Sea opened and allowed the millions of Israelites to escape the pursuing Egyptian army. And the second is found in Joshua 3:15-17 and is often overlooked. It was the harvest season, and the Jordan was overflowing its banks. But as soon as the feet of the priests who were carrying the ark touched the water at the river's edge, 16 the water above that point began backing up a great distance away at a town called Adam, which is near Zarethan. And the water below that point flowed onto the Dead Sea until the riverbed was dry. Then all the people crossed over near the town of Jericho. 17 Meanwhile, the priests who were carrying the Ark of the Lord's covenant stood on dry ground in the middle of the riverbed as the people passed by. They waited there until the whole nation of Israel had crossed the Jordan on dry ground. Metaphorically speaking, it is by the water of repentance illustrated through John's baptism that opens the way through the narrow gate, revealed in Matthew 7:14 how narrow is the gate and difficult the road that leads to life, and few find it. The image of the Word as the cleansing water is the miracle of the sanctified church. The Spirit and the thirst-quenching water of the Word bring us into our heavenly home at the Father's house. Its power is recognized in Ephesians 5:25-26. Christ loved the church and gave himself for her 26 to make her holy, cleansing her with the washing of water by the Word.